To mini split or not to mini split? Well, that's not really the question because we did mini split. Welcome to American Outdoors, and today I'm going to share with you some of the benefits and the drawbacks to owning a ductless mini split system to heat and cool your home. Stay tuned. So last weekend we were all out of town. It was ridiculously hot. I was at a car show and we did not get home until very late that night. And that's when we discovered our central air conditioning system had failed. Now it's 40 years old and we had sort of expected that to happen, but it was too late that night to try and get a technician out to make any repairs and kind of limp it along until we could get it fixed permanently. And let me tell you, it's no fun trying to sleep in bed when it's 85 degrees outside, windows open or not. But again, we had discussed previously when it was time to replace, upgrade the system, that we would probably go with a mini split system. Now, mini splits are systems that are designed to heat and or cool specific or individual areas of your home or a separate outbuilding or external structure. Now, we had received bids and estimates to replace the existing central air conditioning system in our home, and all of them were well over $10,000. I was able to install a 9,000 BTU unit, a 12,000 BTU unit, and a 36,000 BTU unit all myself for a little more than $4,000. Now, this video is not a product review, and it is certainly not a how-to video to install a mini split system. We went with Mr. Cool because that's what we felt suited us best. But you can go online and find hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on how to install a mini split system. In our situation, Mr. Cool has their own step-by-step video, which we found to be very informative. So with a mini split system being ductless, you'll never have to pay somebody to come out and periodically clean your ductworks. The systems are basic. You have an inside unit, an outdoor unit, an electrical conduit, you'll have a line set, a remote, a thermostat. Your tools are basic. A Phillips screwdriver, a spade bit, a drill with a hole saw, a level, a couple pipe wrenches, adjustable pipe wrenches. I typically am one of those guys that when it comes to instructions, I will read the first sentence of every new subject line, and then I won't come back to that instruction book until I've screwed something up, which I would screw something up. I dedicated myself to sitting down on the edge of the bed, the first install, and I purposely read through it, while at the same time I had the video from Mr. Cool on the TV, so I play, pause, play, pause, play, pause, until I had completed each step of the installation. It went smoothly, without a hiccup. The installs will typically take between 2 hours, 4 hours, maybe a little longer. The first one took me about 3 hours. The second one was a couple hours, and that included parts runs and a stop for lunch. The last one, the 36,000 BTU unit, took me about 4 hours because I had to run electrical and the line set through the crawl space and out to the back of the house. If I can do it, most anybody can do it. As a matter of fact, probably the most difficult part of the install was on the last one, the 36,000 BTU unit, when I had to actually lift the indoor unit up and mount it onto the wall. It's easy to do, it's just that it's bulky and somewhat heavy, and that's when you need at least one other person to help. Efficiency. Our new mini split units are going to have a SEER, which is the efficiency rating, of approximately 18.5 to 22. Comparing that to our old central air conditioning unit, that system, which was installed in the late 1980s, had an effective SEER rating of between 8 and 9. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that pound for pound, BTU for BTU, amp for amp, volt for volt, watt for watt, however you want to say that, the new system is going to be that much more effective at cooling your house and saving you money on your utility bills. I truly believe that in a very short time, these mini splits will more than offset the cost that we put in them, which initially was also cheaper than the cost of installing the conventional AC system. Zoning. With a conventional heating and air conditioning system, first you're going to be heating or cooling the ductwork in your attic or your crawl space before it even gets inside of your house. With a mini split, the air's already there. So rather than open or close the vents in each individual room to try and maintain a different temperature, a mini split in which you can put different units throughout the house, you simply set that unit to the temperature you want, so that you may choose to have it 75 degrees in your living room, 72 in the bedroom, 78 in the family room. And this is another one of the benefits of energy efficiency, because you're only cooling the rooms that you choose rather than trying to maintain the entire house at one temperature. And since we've installed the new system, I can't tell any difference in comfort compared to what we used to have. The cool air is evenly distributed throughout the house. I don't feel any warm spots, and that's on a floor plan that's fairly closed. Better air quality. There's no ductwork to attract mold, lint, debris, dust, bugs, and the filters on a mini split are easy to access, and you can clean them monthly or every few months depending on the situation in your home. Noise. Our units have 4 fan speeds including auto, and the condenser outside has a decibel range of up to 56 decibels. The indoor noise level has a range from between 23 decibels up to 52 decibels. That's quiet, folks. You can watch TV if it's right next to you. I have actually had to walk up to several of our units already just to confirm that they were running. They're that quiet. Another benefit to the mini split system is versatility. You can put these in your house in a spare bedroom, a mother-in-law's quarters. You can put these in a she shed or a barn, an outdoor shop or an office, a camper, RV, a cabin. There's just so many different options to use these as long as you've got the proper power source, which also, I should add to this, is that the 9 and the 12,000 BTU units have the option of being offered in 110 volts, whereas the 12, the 18, the 24, and the 36,000 BTU units are offered in 230 volt versions. Cost. Of course, cost. I didn't have to put these in order, but this would have been probably the #1 factor that people use when they're trying to decide on what sort of cooling and heating system they want to put in their home. Now, in the beginning, I said that I put our system in for about 40% of what it would have cost for a conventional central AC system. This system does not include labor, and I get that. However, they're not necessarily designed to have somebody else install them. The learning curve is short enough that the majority of people, if they take their time, use some common sense, and again, read the instructions or watch the videos, you can do it yourself and save yourself that money that you would have had to pay for somebody else to come in and do the same thing that you can do. Wi-Fi. Now, each one of our Mr. Cool units comes with a USB stick, which we plugged into the inside of the air handler, and that allows us, once we've downloaded the Mr. Cool phone app from the Apple Store, to operate and control the temperature in our house any time of the day from anywhere. You can also operate the system using Alexa or Google Assistant. Lifespan and durability. Our old central air unit was 40 years old when it died. Actually, the very next day, Saturday morning, I went to the hardware store and I picked up a hard start capacitor just to try and get it to hopefully start and run through the weekend so that we could make it a little longer without suffering in the heat. Unfortunately, it did start one time and it ran for about an hour and that was it. We knew we weren't going to be able to wring another nickel or dime out of that old girl. She was done. Now, 40 years is probably way above what's the expected lifespan on those old units. These new mini splits, you could probably expect 15 to 20 years out of a unit if it's well maintained and taken care of. My warranty, which I was able to just sign up and register online, was 7 years on the compressor and 5 years on everything else. So what are some of the cons? Well, aesthetics. Some people just don't like the look of a big bulky air conditioning unit on the wall. It takes up wall space. So if you've got a dining room or a family room where you might be limited on where you can put certain pieces of furniture or paintings, this might not be for you. They also don't work well when it's a really closed floor plan. If you've got multiple rooms down a long hallway necessarily, you may need individual units to help maintain temperature more evenly than if you had just one or two large units in the house. Now, we haven't had ours yet long enough to find out how they will do in the winter. I have noticed, however, from reading the books that came with our units, that they don't seem to be as efficient heating a home as they are as cooling a home. Not to say that's a bad thing, I'm just saying they're not as efficient. However, with us, we have 2 wood-burning stoves in our home, and we use electric or gas heat as a secondary supplementary heat source. So it's still going to depend on the area of the country where you are, how cold it gets during winters in where you live, as to how well these will do in the winter. Parts and service. We live in a very rural area, and so it's not easy to find somebody that installs and repairs heating and cooling systems around us. So that I can't really speak too much to. I do have an old friend that goes way back who he owns a heating and cooling company. As a matter of fact, he's the 3rd generation, and he told me recently that mini splits are accounting for about 25 to 30% of their business now. So I expect with the increase in market share that a mini split has, that the sales and the service after the sale are going to continue to increase in both quantity and quality. Well, folks, I think that about does it for this show. I hope this was informative and it helped. Again, I'm not giving an endorsement to Mr. Cool, and they're not giving me any money or free products. I'm just telling you what we decided was best for us. And it was best that I probably threw that in a different spot. Anyway, mini splits work for us. And for the money I saved, over $6,000, I'm sure I can put that to better use in somebody else's pocket, or maybe just keep it in mine. Anyway, American Outdoors. Stay tuned for our next episode. We will see you again soon, folks. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching.